Hey, welcome back. I'm top music attorney, Miss Krystle, and you have joined us on the entertainment news and music business podcast. So, before I get started, because I haven't done a good job with this, make sure you join the email list. Okay. This is kind of where I give you guys the updates about what's going on and I give you like resources to things. So, the email list is literally the best place to be when it comes to getting free stuff to help you with your music career, music business, all the stuff in between. And you can get on the email list. Just go to topmusicattorney.com and then there'll be a little pop up that happens right away. And it says, hello, would you like to join the email list? And you'll say yes. So just go to topmusicattorney.com. Hello to all the people in all the places. Where are you checking in from? What time is it? And how you doing? Okay, so besides the email list, which is definitely a place you want to be if you are not, the other place that we do a lot of our huddles for students and for music business entrepreneurs is through our Facebook student group. So if you want to join, just go to, I guess it would be Facebook, right? And then go to Top Music Attorney, and then you'll see we have a student group there. I think we have we're coming up on like 600 students in the group. So make sure you join there. So those are the kind of two places where there's like stuff going out to the email. Be in the student group because then you can get questions answered, you can participate. It's a great thing and we have so much fun together. All right, checking in. Hey, checking in Michigan, 8 p.m. Welcome in everybody. South Africa, nice. All right. So something else I wanted to see the mouse is already kind of going off, man. I don't know what the deal is with this. So besides that, and kind of in the student group, we are starting weekly calls. We're doing daily things. So make sure you check if you are on YouTube for Top Music Attorney. That's where I just dropped the link. So if you want to join the student group, that will now be in there, so you can grab it. So for today's show, we have a lot of fun things we're going to talk about. Okay, so from a music business tip, I'm going to do the #1 game changer for artists in 2023. I've been thinking about this, I've been meditating on it, and this is something I actually applied for myself in the last 2 months, and I saw insane, progress, change, and output. So this is something that's been working real well for me. So I'm going to give you guys my best tip so that you can go into 2023 crushing it. All right, let's go back to the chat. Hello, Alabama, 3 a.m. I love you guys who are like, what's up? It's like 4 a.m. right now. Toronto. What exactly does it mean to sell your soul in the music industry? Well, hey, we will be talking about that, and that's kind of the whole point of the show. We go through all the things and help you guys so you don't sell your soul. Okay, so that does happen. I think when people say, sell your soul is basically when you sign deals with record labels and they take advantage of you, or you sign crappy deals with managers. I mean, it could be one of everything, but basically you compromise yourself, your values, what you want for your career in order to get X, Y, and Z, whether it's, a shortcut to stardom, right? A big advance, you're going to get a huge chunk of change because you're getting a deal. So I think that's what people mean. Jay says your Wednesday cosplay was amazing. Thank you very much. Here, let's pull it up. Not that I'm ready to show you guys anything on my screen, but we're just going to do it live. Why not? So I've been watching the Wednesday show, and I just love the Wednesday character in general. It's very similar to kind of my personality style in that just being a little emotionless, right? Uncomfortable with public displays of any kind of emotion, just the general stuff. So I resonate with her character a lot. And I've been really enjoying the show. So I think we're on the season finale because I've been spacing it out. So I'm not through the whole thing yet. But for those of you who are watching, do you love it? So in any case, I decided to do a couple of bits, we'll call it. Basically, transforming into Wednesday. But the play is if Wednesday became an attorney. Okay, because I'm thinking through this. I'm like, she would be an amazing attorney, right? Because the whole thing is you're supposed to be a shark and aggressive when you need to be and not have any feelings about anything, right? It's about just getting the job done. So everything about kind of what she's about is perfect if she became an attorney. So let me kind of show you. Let me go over. We post this over on Miss Krystle first. And then I am doing some of it over on Top Music Attorney as well. So I don't know if I shared the audio, but we'll just watch it. So we had obviously the very famous dance with the Lady Gaga audio, which was not in the actual, which is amazing. It was not anywhere in the actual show, but the Lady Gaga fans made it go viral. And then just saying some or adapting some phrases that Wednesday had said during the show, but adapting them for being an attorney. So my last legal brief had a 1,000 pages, 500,000 words. I wonder if I made opposing counsel's eyes bleed. A girl can dream. So it's all very sassy, and I'm glad that you guys are enjoying it. I shot like so much content for Wednesday because I just love the look. I'm like, I need to cut my hair immediately. I need bangs immediately, and I need to go black immediately with the hair. So in any case, I shot a ton of content at my actual law office, and yeah, lots of other things coming. So we'll talk about that. So before I get too far into this, we're gonna run the intro, okay? And then besides the music business tip, we're gonna talk about entertainment news thingies. I'll give you a rundown of what stories we'll be covering today. Of course, we will go back to the chat. So as you guys are continuing to file in, make sure that you are dropping where you checking in from, and you know it. What time is it? So I'm gonna run the intro, and we will be right back. Hi guys, I'm top music attorney Miss Krystle. I'm an entertainment attorney, public speaker, and creator of the Top Music Attorney School for artists and record labels. I'm the owner of Dukes Up Records, and most importantly, I'm an independent artist. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on those bell notifications so you don't miss my weekly videos giving you my best tips on the music business, industry news updates, and teaching you how to stay legally protected. Let's go. Yeah, so in entertainment news stories, we're going to talk about Snoop Dogg getting blocked from using the name Snoop Loopz, right? We also have the Lensa AI portrait thing that's been super viral. All right, so you've seen this everywhere where people are signing up, paying $8 to get their face put into all these different, super beautiful, painting-esque kind of portraits. And so it's been super viral, even though this company and app has been around a while. It just went viral. So anyway, it's kind of interesting, guys. We're going to talk about some copyright issues because sneaky, we're seeing some things happening. And we're thinking maybe it really isn't AI so much as just adapting it to existing portraits by other artists. And maybe there's some stealing going on. So we're going to talk about that. And of course, Taylor Swift. We're always keeping up on things Taylor Swift related. We talked about Ticketmaster fiasco last show. And now the fans are suing. And I just kind of love this. And we're going to talk about it. So in any case, those are the stories. Also, don't forget, if you want to hear my voice, because you just don't want to see my face anymore, and that's okay. But if you want to hear my voice, you can check out the podcast, okay? Because we've just, updated all the places. Go listen on Spotify. I feel good about Spotify, but it's any place you can hear a podcast, we're there. But yeah, I'm excited. So get the episodes. We're focusing and tailoring, just so you guys know, the actual podcast to mostly the music business tips, right? Because, news stories are very time sensitive, and I really want to make it so the podcast is really about music business building. Okay, so for purposes of just kind of like hard learning, if you want to go binge learn, go to the podcast, because obviously here on the actual YouTube channel, we're splicing in stories about newsy things. And then the link, of course, will be in the chat. So make sure you come over to Top Music Journey on YouTube, because that's where we are dropping the link. All right, let me go back. I'm literally trying. What is this? I'm literally trying Snoop Loopz right now. Carlos, tell me everything. How are they? Are we so heartbroken about, Snoop being told no to use the name? All right, let's see. On YouTube, Howdy, howdy, hey. I was told to ask what the rules are around singing in your room, no music, just lyrics. Well, it depends. What are you singing? I mean, the rules might be whoever's owns the house. Okay, so if it's my house and you're singing in a room, the rules are whatever I tell you. I don't think that's what you're asking, so clarify. What's up, James? What's up, Terrell? All right, going through this. All right. So also, has anyone else been watching the Bruce Springsteen interview with Howard Stern? Where was that published, Mr. Producer? Was it on Netflix? Oh, HBO Max. I have every subscription. It's too much. But anyway, so I've been watching that in chunks, and it's so good. It's so good. If you were just someone who's like a musician or in the music business in some kind of way, really, really good investment of time. I've been kind of spreading it out because I don't have 2 hours to watch something collectively. So I'll do kind of a half an hour here, half an hour there, but it's super good. And Bruce is just like amazing. And as he's kind of going through and explaining songwriting and his history, and we covered this on the show, right? So his catalog sale for his publishing rights went for $500 million. Okay, not too shabby. So anyway, something real good. If you haven't watched it, go check it out. All right, so other things. NAMM, right? So for those of you who either travel to NAMM or live in California and go to NAMM, I'll be at NAMM. I haven't actually announced this in any place. So this is the place I'm making the announcement. But my team and I will be there, and we're going to be a vendor. And we're kind of designing this right now because we're like, what the hell is, the setup going to look like? Because the whole thing is like to go there and make friends, right? So just to be like, hey, I'm top music attorney. I help people build their music businesses. I help build record labels. I do all the things. And so I'm like, all right, there's going to be a lot of vendors. There's going to be a lot happening. So we're trying to figure out the designs for, right? I keep calling them scrims, but the banners that will be like 8 feet tall. And obviously I need to be on it, clearly. But just to make it, and then like a runner for the table. And then I'll be running around, obviously, the convention and doing things. So I'm excited. I don't know who's going to NAMM, but I'll be talking about it as we get closer. To the actual event, but I'm excited. And what we're going to do after this, of course, we always run a video. We're going to do piano version of Secret. I don't know if you guys have been listening to Secret. That's my newest song, but we'll watch that. And yeah, if you get on that email list, then of course, that's where you'll get updates about NAMM. All right, before we run that video, let me go back real fast. Howdy, clarified. Singing in your room or shower and posting it, no music or lyrics, copyright rules. Well, it depends if it's someone else's song, right? So even when, for example, we, in TV shows, we'll hear someone singing a cappella, just kind of what you're explaining, a popular song. It's not something they wrote. If you wrote it, do whatever you want with it. Sing whatever you want, wherever you want. It's great. But it sounds like you're talking about maybe if it's someone else's song. So if that's the case, if you're just singing and in the shower, you're not posting it, obviously, you're gonna be fine. It's if you're gonna start actually using something, in some kind of commercial way. But that's an interesting question. There was a case where a famous live streamer didn't mean to start live streaming. He accidentally started live streaming, and then he took the video and sold it. And in the live stream, there was copyrighted content. And a part of the question was, well, did he own it? Because he didn't mean to actually make it, right? Guys, remember, the whole thing with copyright, if you make it, you write down the lyrics, you record the song, you have copyright ownership in the thing automatically. But the question was, he didn't mean to actually make it. So it was an interesting case because, of course, the court came back and they go, well, you didn't actually mean to make it. So it wasn't looking too terribly good for him. So there's lots of things that kind of play into it. I don't think if you're singing Lady Gaga in your bedroom and no one hears it, that anything's going to happen. You should be okay. That is not legal advice. Consult with your separate legal counsel. All right, guys, let's run Secret, the piano version. I'm going to be back. We're going to jump into the news stories. If you're still checking in, let me know where you're checking in from, and we will be right back. I can feel the sickness in me, poison on the inside. Just ignore the guilt that lingers, everything will be fine. Do you believe me when I try? Do you believe me when I'm high? practice lies, make it through one more night. I've got a secret I've been keeping from you, baby. I've got a secret I've been keeping from you, baby. Like a thread, it's been unraveling, tangled in my tortured mind. Promise that I keep this locked up, take it to the grave confined. Don't let me speak it when I try, God let me keep it inside tight. Look in the mirror, practice lies, make it through one more night. I've got a secret I've been keeping from you, baby. I've got a secret I've been keeping from you, baby. I've got a secret, I've got a secret, I've got a secret, I've got a secret, I've got a secret. I've got a secret I've been keeping from you, baby. All right, here we go. So, hopping over real fast to the chat. Hello for those of you who are just checking in. Someone had a question. So, the dates for the NAMM convention, it's April. I think it's like the 13th or the 14th. It's like 2 days. I may have just said that correctly. I don't know. But you can see it on their website, but it is in April, and I'm excited. I'm taking the whole team. We're gonna make it a thing and be there. I don't know. Some stuff's gonna happen. CJ asks, have you switched the time? You're going 2 hours earlier. CJ, I'm trying it this week. I don't know. Okay, so I need to bring the best to you guys. We need to have a great time. I need to make sure my brain is working. And I just kind of told my team, I go, let's try it a little bit earlier this week just to see how we do. It's actually 1 hour earlier for me, but we had a time zone shift happen. So in any case, I know it's 2 hours for you guys. So we're trying it for now. Just make sure you pay attention. Obviously, if you're like on my email list, if you're in the Facebook group for the students, that's where we make the announcement the day of, as well as like in Top Music Attorney Instagram stories. So I let you guys know every day. So, it's not that I'm making you work for it or anything, just to know day of. But in any case, I asked Carlos, how are the Snoop Loops? And he says, generic Fruit Loops, lol, but not the worst. All right, well, Fruit Loops, in fact, are the ones that are pretty pissed off at Snoop Dogg. And we're going to talk about that here shortly when we bring in that Orko show producer to chat about all things entertainment news. Hello, if you are just checking in, thank you for joining us. All right, let me go down. Colin says, pause for question. We always pause for questions. Does Swifties' suit against Ticketmaster include mobile tickets? Well, Colin, you're going to have to wait until we get to the Taylor Swift segment because we're going to talk about that, but I will remember. All right, so let's, without further ado, bring in that Orko so we can get into all things news related.
Hey, shout out to the community. Thank you guys so much for being here. We really appreciate it. If you're watching from another platform, because we are broadcasting out to multiple platforms right now, make sure that you are subscribed over on the Top Music Attorney YouTube channel. That's where we broadcast out the most. That's the hub. That's where we need you locking in with us, where we make the cool clips. We do all the extra little stuff that's over here on the YouTube channel. So yeah, what's good? Happy
How's
Friday.
Your week? How was everything in your life this week? Let's talk about it.
I think it was pretty good. I don't think I generally have any complaints. I don't know, what's today, Friday? Yeah, it's Friday. I don't know. What did we do? There was a
We just tried
music.
to keep a grip of everything. It's
We
just
were
been
we
a little
recorded
intense.
we recorded earlier in the week, and we laid down vocals for another song that's coming out. We finished. I think we're finished with the mix for the most part of the next song that we're going to release. We just played you Secret, so we're working on that. So everything is trucking along.
I
That
played
we've
the
just
song
been.
the next song we're gonna release for my mom, okay? I haven't released it, obviously, because you guys don't get to hear the song just yet, but I played it for my mom, and her reaction was insane. Like, she was driving, I thought that she was gonna crash the
Mm.
car, so I can't wait for you guys to see that and obviously get the tease of the song, but anyway, the week's been
Yeah,
good.
no, it's been good, and we've been just kind of like in talking to a lot of the students, and interacting with a lot of students that have been, joining the Facebook groups and, some of the courses that you offer. It's
No,
been it's been a really good week.
we had our first official, private
Zoom
huddle.
chat.
Yeah, it was a Zoom chat, but it's like a little huddle with the students who are on the mailing list, right? My email list, as well as in my Facebook group. And so it was kind of like, anyone could come. You don't have to be enrolled in my courses or anything like that, but anyone could come and get your questions answered. So it was super fun. Super
Yeah.
excited to be doing this. And it's only for obviously if you're on those two things. So that's why I'm pushing it. Make sure you sign up. Go to topmusicattorney.com if you want to be on the newsletter, or go join our group on Facebook, Top Music Attorney. Without further ado, I say, let's talk about the portrait story. What do you think?
Yeah, do it.
All right. Lensa is tinged with controversy. Okay. So, as this app has soared to incredible popularity, even
It's
though
insane.
it's been around since 2018, it's viral now. Everyone is posting the pictures and the variety of options of themselves, and it's so fun, right?
Mm.
Not, can't say nothing about that. It's $8, lots of fun. You get props for yourself, cool. But there's a problem that's happening. Okay, so it has to do with the fact that artists are now starting to kind of come out of the woodworks and to say that this AI technology, because the whole premise is that you upload about 10 pictures of yourself, and then the AI is going to take the information and then from a catalog database that it has to go and basically assemble new portraits of you. Okay, but as now we're hearing different artists come out and say, "Oh no, that was
Yeah.
absolutely based or taken from my art." And in fact, there's screenshots popping out where you can actually see a bit of like signatures
Right.
on these paintings that were taken from other artists. So that's the problem. And the question will be, of course, what does that mean for copyright? But that's kind of where the controversy is coming from as it relates to this very viral app.
And there's other, controversies besides just the actual things for artwork. People are concerned with like you're giving these apps and these companies, you're volunteering and paying them for them to use your likeness to scan your face for their different AI products. And, I even saw somebody had a comment saying something like, when you start seeing your face in random artwork of things that was just generated by AI and you're not getting paid for it, don't complain. You opted in for it, like you paid them to steal your stuff, and it's just kind of crazy, like just
Well,
the things
and
that we opt into.
that's right. It's not just opting in, right? Because there's a lots of things about apps. You opt in, you give permission to,
Hmm.
access your, camera and your voice recorder and all that so they can hear you and all the stuff.
Including Instagram and TikTok. Every time you're using these filters and all this stuff, you
That's
are
true. That's true, which is part of a
for
bigger
these free
conversation.
apps.
But per the app's actual terms and conditions, which is the contract, just so you guys know, when you actually, click that button when it says here are the terms and conditions, that's the contracts between you and the company. So via their terms and conditions, this company retain all rights in and to your content. So by using it, when you actually upload your photos, those photos are now owned by this app, right? Which may
Right.
or may not be a concern for some people. They're like, oh, these are just selfies I took. Who cares? But a lot of people probably don't know that. And so by doing it, you're giving them permission, obviously, to now create all these different variations of portraits. And they're saying, of course, that's why we need the permission.
Well,
But
it's do you think it's because the first thing I saw is, I have my own thoughts about this that we'll kind of get into as far as just, the actual app itself. But I saw a lot of artists, musicians and stuff going, oh my god, I got my next album covers for like my next 5 records from this. And that's it's interesting that the controversy is about whether they're stealing artwork, but they're making sure to let you know that we own this, so don't go using this for your album, for your record, for your whatever. Don't try to sell these AI generated pictures as for profit, because we own those. But we're taking artwork from everywhere else. That's just kind of interesting to me.
Right. So back to the legal question in regards to, well, how does this matter for copyright? So the rule with copyright, as soon as you make the thing, okay, whether it's a painting, whether it's even digital art, if it's music, as soon as you make it, you automatically have copyright ownership in the thing. Okay. So that's a beautiful part of copyright. What happens is that if you then go and create a thing based on the thing, it's called a derivative work. So that's what this is. Right. So if, for example, they did not purchase the painting references that they're using, right, and they in fact, stole them, took them, and now they're creating derivative works using the pictures uploaded by users, then we have copyright issues because the authors, the artists are saying, I didn't know about this. They're saying I didn't give permission on this.
Right.
So that's the problem. And, if you have a copyright violation, a claimant can bring a claim and you can get statutory damages sometimes in upwards of $150,000 per claim. So this could be a very big deal.
Yeah, and from what I understand, they're using the stuff to generate from. They use a system called Stable Diffusion. It's a model trained to learn patterns through an online database of images called Leon 5B. Once training complete, it no longer pulls from those images, but uses the patterns to create more content. Then it learns your facial features from the photos you upload and applies it to the art. So, I don't know if it's like just, I know that a lot of AIs, because you're seeing this isn't the only AI company that's doing this, right? So
Right.
I can't think of, like, I'm trying to think of what the other really big one is that I just started seeing everybody doing, like all these sci-fi fantasy. What's it called? It doesn't matter. Well, there's just a lot of just different companies that are kind of doing this, and I think that they're doing a lot of pulling from Google Images. I think they're doing a lot of from pulling from just different things that are on the web and just kind of just whatever. I don't think you necessarily have to opt into that. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I'm pretty sure about that.
Yeah, and look, I mean, and to your point, there's a lot of different companies that are doing something like this, but the problem is I haven't, seen something quite to this effect, which is why it's going
What's
viral,
that
right?
company called?
They look so incredible, like someone spent 20 hours painting you in this incredible, setup. We haven't seen something that AI this advanced, right? But what they're saying is that the AI is not thinking, right? It's not really coming up with something brand new. It's just basing it on something that already existed and that they potentially didn't have permission to use.
Yeah, no, and it's kind of crazy. There's a lot of concern that's going on. So my own kind of personal thought about just the actual artwork itself. I think it looks really cool. I think it looks great. But like, I think that it's going to be forgotten about like in 2 weeks, like because it feels like, because everybody just exploded and had it like one day, and it was just like everybody's profiles, everybody's pictures, everybody's jumping on the trend. And if you've seen two, you've kind of seen them all. And it kind of like, the problem that I have with this, some of these things, it just kind of just like not devalues, but it just kind of just makes it all just kind of generic, and something that's actually pretty impressive because it's on such a scale and it's just like a phone. Like, you could tell it kind of feels like it's cheap when I'm looking at it. Like, it doesn't
You
feel like
mean
it's
from
cool.
other apps? Is that what
No,
you're
no, no.
saying?
Just from an aesthetic, presentation, just seeing it. Now it's like so trendy. Everybody has it. Like, I didn't do it. Like, I didn't do the app. I didn't download it and go through the whole thing. And I don't want it because like everybody has it. Like, it's cool. Like, it looked cool like the first couple, but then when everybody did, it's just kind of like, It's kind of like, like when
Yeah, but
you're.
you're the anti-trend on everything, right? So you're
No, but
never gonna
I think
opt
it's gonna
in
die
because
out.
it's
I think it's
trendy.
it's it's cool because you wanna be the first person to kinda have it and have the cool stuff when everybody else has it. I don't know. I think it might be interesting for trying to come up with, say, if you're an artist and you're trying to come up with new kinds of, like, looks, like, okay, so, like, if you did it and you're like, "I need some looks for my music video, so I'm gonna put a whole bunch of ideas into something, and let's see what kind of looks it kinda gives me, and then I'm gonna kinda create something off that." Like, I could see it being used for, like, inspiration of things, but, I mean,
Yeah,
I
no, I
think the
mean, look,
trend's gonna die out.
To Eric's point right here, it's gonna get old real quick. I agree with you on that. I think that to your earlier point about, artists using this for their cover art, right? Or using it for some other commercial capacity, that's when there's gonna be a potential issue, right? Because as we just read from the terms and conditions, you don't own it, right? Even though it was
Mm.
based on your picture, you don't own it. So you're not supposed to use it. You're not allowed to use it. So I wonder, I'm curious. I don't know if they would take action. I don't know if they're going to go and, get John's single taken down because they become aware of it. Maybe they will. I don't know. But, I wouldn't risk it if it was me. Nor would I be so into it if it's something that I think everyone's going to know where I got it from. If like, oh, you took this from that viral app thing that
There's so
versus
many
actually having
trends.
something really unique. I don't know.
Remember when everybody was putting like the puppy dog filters on their face for like the Snapchat filters and stuff? I don't know if people still do that like crazy, but like I don't know, it's just like with anything. Anything just kind of gets hot and then it's just kind of like, dude, I've seen that. It's over. What's the next thing? The thing that I was thinking of was called Midjourney. That's the app that, or not app, but the program that I was talking about that does all the really crazy like AI scenes and stuff that I see a lot of filmmakers using for their concept art and stuff like that. And so when they're trying to come up with concepts, it's kind of cool, but it's the same thing. But there's tons of these programs and stuff that do this. It's interesting. I mean, it's definitely cool. It's kind of scary, and it does kind of, for me, a little bit devalue art. But I mean, art is being devalued every second, from music to films to
Well, no,
everybody
and that
wants
was my
everything for
thought too.
free. And
In the music realm, right? I mean, we just see that it's now not only trendy, it's just like industry standard that people are mixing and mashing songs. You're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to remix without getting rights to sample the music, and they just do. And then the music industry as a whole, where you have record labels that are like, "Well, it went viral, so now we'll just go do a deal with the artist. We're not going to sue them." Legally speaking, they could sue the pants off of them,
I
get a
mean,
lot
just
of
really think
money.
about it. Think about it, how where music is at now, where the whole entertainment industry is at. Before, we were worried about like Napster and stuff, and it would just be, it's out there. But now it's just like, so now just corporations and other people other than the creatives have figured out how to make money off it. So Napster isn't, or LimeWire, or off their ads or whatever it was. I don't know. It's kind of sad. Just like all these things, you can just get little snippets of your songs on TikTok. You can get, and it's the trends. And I don't want to sound like old man. That's just like, hey, back in my day, we listened to whole records and stuff like that. But
Where I see that there's kind of a tantamount progression of what's going to happen, it's going to be with music AI, right? And in
well, there
fact,
already
I
is.
have people
Yeah.
right, no, and I have people contacting my office about this. How do we do it legally? Because we're going to have the AI that's going to then identify the music, and sometimes it's because we want them to write hit songs, and the AI is going to write the hit song because it's just formulaic, right?
I'll tell
Or
you.
it's going to go
Oh
ahead.
no, go ahead. No, I was just gonna say, I bet you watch this. Watch. So when AI music, because it's gonna be a thing. It's gonna be a thing. It might not be the thing as far as like what hits top 40. There might be some things that randomly do. There may be that one novelty song that makes top 40. But I think where you're gonna hear AI music is in your favorite like TV shows, or shows that are like on cable, like woodworking shows, or like, I need something that sounds like good for this, or car commercials, or just something where they don't have to pay major artists necessarily, or other artist stuff. They can just kind of have generated music for their YouTube videos or for things like that. I could see things like that being used for that. But I mean, but even still, like, it's just, be
I
careful
just
what you
don't
wish for,
think
y'all.
I just don't think that it would become a thing because there's just so much volume. There's so much great, prolific music out there that artists are giving away just to have an opportunity to be in a TV show. Like,
People
so I
were
just don't
like, I
even
don't
think
want
that
to
there's a need
watch.
for it.
People are like, I'm never going to watch streaming. Movies will never be a thing. People will always want to go to the movie theater. And I'm telling you, like, it's just the times are changing. And then look at this. So then think about AI rights, right? So let's say if the AI starts creating more, art, music, they're writing books. They can write scripts. You see AI, presentations. If you have to do like a talk video for YouTube, there's AI presenters that will write and do the whole presentation for you. um, you're going to see in the future, and this is where you're going to start seeing that Skynet stuff happen. You know, Lawyers are going to come out and go, well, why do you own what this AI created? The AI deserves rights. The AI should be generating the money for
That's
AI, like, because they are the one that created it. Somebody's going to come
funny.
along, and that's where you're going to start seeing the beginning of the end.
Well,
If we're
well,
not,
hopefully we'll be alive so that we can have a spirited discussion about it on this
it's
show.
interesting though.
All right, moving on. So next, let's go because we had someone eaten the Snoop Loops, so it's the perfect time to chat about it.
Snoop.
You better watch out. You're going to get this podcast demonetized, shut down forever. All right, here we go. Snoop Dogg cereal has been blocked from using the name Snoop Loopz. Okay, so back in August, Snoop announced a new marshmallow-filled cereal called Snoop Loopz, which was produced through his food label, which Snoop runs with Master P. It's also the cereal Jack White had some questions about. Unfortunately, according to a group of videos posted to Master P and Snoop's respective Instagrams, the two won't be able to go ahead with the name Snoop Loopz. Okay, so in the caption, it just said, "We've built a national brand and disrupted the cereal industry." I love that when you have musicians and artists who are like, "We have disrupted the cereal industry." And we did it with
Such
hard work
rebels.
and integrity. I know they're uncomfortable and scared. End quote. And the pair didn't specify who they were, but obviously we're talking about, Kellogg's and the
Right.
threatening litigation. So you did a little research. Are they still selling the
No,
cereal?
so the update to it, and I don't know if you have it, if you wanna click on it so you could pull it up. My screen's a little stuttery over here on my end, so,
Oh, sure.
um but yeah, no, I mean, I went to the website yesterday because he has the Brodus Foods, where he also sells like muffin mix and all kinds of different stuff. It's actually pretty cool. And I really like the artwork, even though, when you look at, the Snoop Loops itself, it looks very much like, Fruit Loops as far as just the concept, the loops. I mean, it's so I can understand what's happening with it. But yeah, no, the
Look
update
at
is
him. Yeah, I mean, it
so
looks like Fruit Loops. I mean, that's the problem here when you have, obviously the actual product itself doesn't help anything, but in the is it going to confuse consumers? Therefore, there's a trademark infringement claim by Fruit
if
Loops.
you if you scroll down, you'll see Snoop and Master P's video that they did right there.
All right, let's see. I'm gonna make this a little smaller for you guys. Here we go. Trying
And then,
again.
yeah,
It's
I don't
just
know if you
not
can.
gonna load.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, they're just talking about how that was their name and stuff, and they have to change it, or they're going to be changing it, and now they're leaving it up to you to help them to decide their name. So if you, when you go to their website for the Snoop Loops website, snooploops.com, you will see that the imagery for the Snoop Loops, they are letting you know that you can now um, vote for your choice. Oh, actually, the Snoop Loops are one to still. I guess I was looking at the actual Broadus Foods website where it says it. Yeah,
Okay.
so if you go to Broadus Foods website, and that's the company that's the like Snoop's company, and that's his last name. Where they sell the pancake mix, grits, oatmeal, maple syrup. It's Mama Snoop pancake mix. And then they go, what should we name our new cereal? Let me see how this looks
Yeah, so I
actually.
mean, it sounds like they're complying. They must have gotten some real threatening cease and desist. We will destroy you and everything you've ever built kind of letters that you get from lawyers. And in kind, they probably talk to their attorneys. They're like, we're going to go and F these guys. We are disrupting the cereal industry. And then their attorney was like, no, it's going to be a problem and you don't want to lose a lot of money. And so they decided probably good to heed the attorney's advice.
Yeah, so I mean, this is his actual website for his food thing and the different products that they have and stuff like that. So before it was the Snoop Loops. This is the Snoop Loops website when you go to it. So they still have all this imagery up. So I mean, it's very colorful. He has Snoop's been really getting to this whole kids game. He has like a kids show now. He's really trying to get into that market. Those are his characters. He has like full on characters that he like walks around with. Very very fun. Kids love the Snoop Loops. But yeah, so they have that, and they also offer other kind of products. But I think it's interesting when just that that he's a businessman working again with Master P. He's always stated before how Master P was such an influence on his business, teaching him how to earn money, and he didn't really start earning money until he linked up with Master P. So it's good that
Right.
they're still working together, doing their thing, and that he's got that entrepreneurial spirit where he's trying to get into things, but he's trying to do it right, so he doesn't get in trouble by Kellogg's.
That's right, and that is something that we can learn because Snoop, especially I feel in recent interviews, he's really just talked about his business acumen, and again, I learned so much working with Master P. That was the first time I was being taken advantage of. I wasn't getting paid right. And now obviously he knows how to run himself and run the business. Okay. And so what we can learn from this is that he is heeding counsel to not just do it, because then he's dealing with litigation for years and years, millions of dollars in attorney's fees and damages and all these things. So, actually, this is another example of him just being a smart businessman.
Yeah, good luck. Good luck to both of them, and
Oh,
I'm interested to see what they end up changing the name from Snoop Loopz to. I'll keep up.
all right, moving on. All right,
Go.
for my Swifties, let me go to this. All right. Dozens of Taylor Swift fans sue Ticketmaster in the wake of its ticket sale fiasco. Now, I'll be sure to link down the video where we covered this initially, right? Where we had something like 14 million fans trying to purchase tickets to go and see Taylor Swift. And then what happened is that, of course, the website couldn't handle it. There were crashes. And this was in the pre sale phase. Now, there's been some additional information that came out. Apparently, fans were being enticed to buy merchandise, right? And then they would be put into this pre-sale queue. And so they did these things, right, pursuant to Ticketmaster agreements, and then they weren't able to get the tickets. And then the way the whole thing where it works on Ticketmaster is that bots will go in, people will purchase the tickets, and then put them back up for sale. And we were showing you some of these tickets were being resold for $10,000, $20,000, even $50,000. So here's the update. More than 24 Taylor Swift fans as of now, but I think like 400 people have expressed interest in joining this lawsuit since it was filed this week.
And they want and they expect way more to join up as publicity of this spreads. I'm sure more people are going to want to jump on this.
Yes, and so they're suing Ticketmaster, and the parent company is Live Nation Entertainment, but they're suing Ticketmaster, okay? And they're having to do with this whole fiasco of what happened. So the lawyers for the 26 plaintiffs who live in a variety of states, I think there's like 13 different states across the United States, they finally filed this complaint in LA County Superior Court on Friday. So they're alleging this ticketing process, it's a monopoly. And basically, we have no other option. There are fraudulent practices. There are what are called antitrust violations. So we say, look, Federal Trade Commission, they're doing things to monopolize the market. This is illegal stuff.
And adding crazy fees to everything anyway. We went over that in depth on the last video of this.
And adding a whole lot of fees, which we've all kind of just become accustomed to. I mean, it's kind of like this whole, you go to, a theme park and then you get a water and the water's like $20 and you're like, oh, it's terrible. But you also just accept it because that's how it is, right? So there's a little bit of that, but obviously they're saying the pendulum has swung way too far the other way. And now we have antitrust issues. Okay, so that's where we're at right now. Now, do we anticipate that hundreds of people are going to continue joining this complaint? I think so.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The Swifties are going to unite and they are going to go like Hulkamania all over Ticketmaster, and they are going to complain and they are going to stomp feet, and it's going to get real screechy up in there.
Well, as Chris puts it, Live Nation is dealing. Oh, well, hello to you too, Michael. I'm misclicking stuff. Sorry. Live Nation haven't had a good time recently. No, and in fact, wasn't Live Nation that also was one of the named defendants with Travis Scott, right? And the loss of life and the injuries at his festival. I mean, obviously that is a multi-billion-dollar lawsuit that is still pending. So the answer is yes, there's been a lot happening. Now,
but they're seeking $2,500 against Ticketmaster for every violation of business and professional codes.
Yes, but there are other damages. So let me just see if I can pull this up for you guys so we can look at this actual complaint together. And so you can get a little more context of what the plaintiffs are asking. Okay. And maybe even if you haven't seen
Taylor wasn't happy about it.
She wasn't, but I haven't seen her really,
Well, she said that the chaos is pissed me off, and she doesn't know how something like that could happen when they were assured that they can, they would be able to handle the demand. So, I mean,
yeah, and we talked about this on the last episode as far as when Ticketmaster does these deals with big labels, with big artists, right? There can be kickbacks that go to the artist because of certain, thresholds are met. And so, Ticketmaster doesn't want to piss off too many big acts as well, right? You don't want to piss off arguably the biggest, act in the world, Taylor Swift. But in any case, let's look at the complaint. So this is, in fact, let me make this bigger. Let me see if this works. There you go. So one of the first causes of action here, it's breach of contract. So what they're alleging in this section is just to say, this was the pre-sale stuff. Okay, so we entered into a contract, setting forth conditions, the material terms, agreement. Defendants would give us the right to pre-purchase the Lovers Fest tickets in exchange for buying merchandise, right? And they obviously were not able to do that. That was
Right.
part of the issue because the site was crashing, it was freezing. So let's go back down.
I miss the
second,
days. I think we need to go back to the days of waiting in line for tickets. Like, no more of this online stuff. I used to wait in line for my concert tickets for hours. You'd have to get up at like Saturday at like 6:30 a.m., start waiting in line at Dillard's or at whatever Tower Records, wherever it was that had a Ticketmaster, or if they were a Dillard's outlet, and you would wait in line with 200 other people. Some people that would camp out from the night before to get their tickets, and and you still had to worry about scalpers buying the maximum 4 to 6 tickets at a time. But at
yeah,
least
how
it's
would
like,
this work logistically for Taylor's 14 million fans?
I don't know. They got to figure it out. Like,
Mm.
it's just because it's just hard with bots. It's hard with bots. It's hard with AI. It's hard with all of this stuff, man. Like, technology is just making it really hard to do anything.
Right. All right, so the next claim here, it's for intentional misrepresentation. So Ticketmaster made statements to plaintiffs about the pre-sale of her tickets, particularly regarding how to get codes, who would get codes, how to get tickets, who'd be able to be part of the pre-sale. Ticketmaster also failed to disclose that they had sent more codes than they could accommodate with tickets. Ticketmaster had no intention of following these statements to plaintiffs. So they're saying, since it's intentional misrepresentation, that's fraud. It was fraud because you said this thing, you knew it wasn't true, and you made us rely on that, leading us to then take these actions, which has caused us damages. Okay. So that's number two. So the first one was breach of contract. Number two, intentional misrepresentation, which is fraud. Number three, fraud again. Okay. And in fact, let's just kind of go through because we know, they're saying, Ticketmaster, you lied. All right. And then we have fourth cause of action, which is fraudulent inducement. So this is a slight variation. So with fraudulent inducement, they're saying essentially that based on statements, you induced us to then go and do something. So by way of the wrongful acts and omissions, as alleged herein, Ticketmaster will be unjustly enriched if they are able to profit from plaintiff's action free from any claims by
Right.
plaintiffs. Okay. Plaintiffs are informed and believe
They don't get
plaintiffs'
that
claims
money.
against Ticketmasters, are actionable and recoverable. We sustain damages because of Ticketmaster. We want our attorney's fees on top of everything else.
When all this stuff was going on, I had this thought in the back of my head that where just like, worst case scenario, because there was such an outpouring of just upset fans. So what do they do? Like, just because they can't really do anything, because ticket, you know what I mean? Like, what are you going to do? Like, are they going to just go, okay, guys, so if you got a ticket, so sorry, you're going to have to go through the process of getting a refund. We're going to have a resale next Saturday. We got it set up. So if you got tickets, sorry, those don't count. We're going to take all those away from you, and we're just going to start the whole process over if we can get it right. Like, there's really nothing you can do. And Taylor can't just be like, yo, you know what? Because they messed this thing up so much, I'm canceling the tour. I'm going to find somebody else to do it with, because then she'd be upsetting all the millions of people that did get tickets. So it's like, no matter what happens, like the fans and Taylor and Ticketmaster all kind of like in this weird stuck position where it's just like there's not going to be any really good answer. And by the fans suing Ticketmaster, like if this thing gets big enough, it could really set precedent for how Ticketmaster moves forward.
I totally agree. And if it doesn't, it won't. Now, Winston had a question. Any antitrust claims? Great question, Winston. So number 5, cause of action,
Here it is.
antitrust violation. So there is an actual controversy between plaintiffs on the one hand and defendant on the other as to their rights, obligations, interests concerning the contract and or property. Due to this actual controversy, plaintiffs are entitled to a determination of their rights and obligations concerning the contract and property pursuant to an equitable order of declaratory relief. Keep going. Ticketmaster coordinated efforts to foreclose competition in the secondary ticket service market, which constituted a violation of Cartwright Act. So, guys, what we're talking about with antitrust or security issues is basically to say that this company came into the market, they are monopolizing the market, and because of that, consumers have no other choice. So when we have these practices that go and cause a lot of exploitation, now we're getting into the monopoly issue. So
Yeah,
Ticketmaster,
it's like you trying to go or not. Like you know what I mean? Like and then you go, well, uh with these bots, then you're going to go to these, other reseller tickets and you're going to just pay the extra fees or just whatever anybody else wants, like a StubHub or just whatever. And it's just like it just sucks, man. Cause a lot of these, there's a lot of people that have the money to go do these shows, but like, there's a lot of people that just kind of want to
well,
go
it
do
looks like
something.
Colin may have actually been one of the injured parties here. What happened, Colin? Tell us. So, Ticketmaster has been able to accomplish this violation because of the individual and collective market power that Golden State and Ticketmaster wield over the sale of Taylor Swift's tickets through primary ticket platforms. Ticketmaster coordinated illegal acts and efforts to force ticket holders to use Ticketmaster as their exclusive provider of secondary ticket exchange services, monitor, enforce, and or coerce compliance with their respective policies, exclusivity market, and to promote Ticketmaster. So, I mean, they're saying the whole, are you kidding me here? Which I don't think anyone's disputing. So then it gets into, of course, under the antitrust claims, we have unlawful tying. And so, as we kind of get more cerebral into how this works, I mean, the simple of it, last time I used kind of the example of Walmart, right? So if Walmart comes in so that eventually smaller types of shops that sell the same types of goods just have no ability to do that anymore, then we kind of have now the government step in, right? These administrative bodies like the Federal Trade Commission who will sue. And in fact, we're not covering it on tonight's show, but wasn't it Microsoft, right? So
Yeah, there's with
Microsoft is
Activision.
attempting to acquire through a $69 billion sale another company, which would make it, I think, the third largest game creator in the
Yeah.
marketplace. So in response, Federal Trade Commission goes and actually sues it and says, no, we're going to stop the sale. The sale might still go through, but this is what we do to try to actually control these businesses when they start getting out of control.
Well, no, and it's when you are buying tickets, like I don't really know how buying tickets works anymore because I either just go to the Ticketmaster website or we get on lists for shows or just whatever it is. So I don't know of if there is like you can go, like, for instance, if the show is at the arena downtown or whatever, can you go to the arena and buy tickets directly from the arena, so at least there's another option if you don't want to go through Ticketmaster? Or does the arena have to go through Ticketmaster as well? I don't really remember how all of that works because, again, when I'm just like everybody else, I'm just on my phone, just a quick easy way to get it. I don't really even pay attention to that. But I wonder if it's going to be a thing where it can't be like a Ticketmaster exclusive event, where so eventually something's going to happen where it's like you have to have multiple, and you can, like, if you're Ticketmaster, you can go, we got this really cool package available where you're going to get exclusive shirts, or you can go to some other ticket company or whatever, and you can get the tickets for whatever the price is. Do you know what I mean? I don't know.
Right.
I feel like there's got to be something to help out people trying to get stuff. I mean, it's always been a problem. It's been a problem since the beginning of concerts, as far as scalpers and bot. If it wasn't bots, it was just other people just on the streets and stuff. But
Well, the unlawful tying, claim is kind of interesting, right? Because what it's basically saying is that when you have a condition in order to go and purchase the thing, so in this case, it was you have to go and purchase merchandise, and then you have the opportunity to go into the pre-sale group, right? Then it becomes unlawful tying. So that's the basis of this claim. Now, Winston had a question. Any potential litigation against the resellers, aka like when they went after the Napster users? That's a really good question. Now, as far as this complaint, the answer is no. This complaint is solely against Live Nation. So as now, they're not naming individual people because, quite frankly, that would be a huge pain in the ass. And if you are legally able to do something, and pursuant to the actual company's own policies, you're allowed to post it up and put whatever number you want. So what did they do wrong, essentially, right? But when we are able to kind of utilize these claims, the government, it's usually because we're dealing with bigger things, right? Scale. But to, the point, in the United States of America, you can sue whoever you want. So if you do find any resellers and you go, I think you are a terrible person, and you want to sue them, you can. You just might not win.
They just need to figure out the bot situation. I think that's the biggest, and I don't even know what you do about that. I mean, just in general, you need to work out the bot situation. But if there's a way somehow that you can deter that even more to where kids or fans actually have a chance to get some of these things, I think it'll be better for everybody. But I will say that Live Nation just somebody made the comment earlier, they're just kind of just getting hit left and right. And I mean, with just all the multiple lawsuits and stuff, I don't even know. Like, they're probably like, oh man, this Taylor Swift's really going to help us out with some of this Travis Scott stuff. And they're just like, nope, here they come. And I really do. I think it's going to get huge. I think it's going to, you saw all those people turned away. You see a lot of people opportunistic, and these Swifties are hardcore. So I think that you are going to see a lot of action happening.
And Taylor Swift is hard. And Taylor Swift is hardcore for her fans. And so I wonder if this does get big enough, maybe she jumps into the mix and she becomes kind of an advocate for change. We'll see.
Now, if some of these people didn't get tickets, I don't think they deserve like some kind of money compensation because they didn't get tickets or something like that. Like, it's kind of tricky. Like, I don't like, oh, I didn't get tickets either. Like, give me money, I'm upset. Like, no, but I think that hopefully something like this will just bring about change in how they do business. That's more of what I would like to see. Like, cool, like, you're exposed, we got it. Now, I'm so sorry for those kids that didn't get it, but moving forward, this is what has to be put in place in order so nothing like this can happen again. And, it's just more fair for the fans. I mean, come on.
All right. So I think that gets us through the 3. I'm going to do a refresh. So say goodbye to the people, guys. Don't go anywhere because I'm going to do a very fantastic music business tip for you. Hit it.
Very good. So, while she's refreshing, I just want to remind you that we are really trying to push people and let them know that we do have the audio version of the podcast that is up wherever you listen to your podcasting from. So it's Spotify, that's Apple Podcasts, Amazon, Podbean, all those places. And, make sure that you are signed up for our mailing list at topmusicattorney.com. That's where you're going to get all the extra little tips and things that are coming up. This is where you learn about what's going to be coming up on some of the shows. You'll get some of the NAMM information if you're trying to say hello at NAMM, where we'll be. So really a lot of good stuff. And we just really appreciate you guys being here every week. If you haven't yet, make sure that you are coming over to Top Music Attorney on YouTube and you're following us there. That's the most important place to follow us. Other than where?
On the podcast, on Spotify,
and
on the socials.
Top Music Attorney on all the platforms where you can see more of her lawyer Wednesday bits, which I really, really liked a lot. I thought they were hilarious. So
thank you very much.
Shout out to community. Appreciate y'all. See you guys on the next one.
All right. Thank you, that Orko. All right, guys. So we're going to jump in. Let's do a music business tip. As always, please drop comments in the chat. When we're done, we're going to go through one more video. I'll be in the chat hanging out with you guys to end the night perfectly. We're like on date night. That's what this is. Friday is like education/date nights. Let's just hang out. All right. With that being said, in today's music business tip, I'm going to be discussing the #1 game changer for artists in 2023. So, I'm an independent artist. I'm also a record label owner. I'm also an entertainment attorney. So I really do have that perspective of being all the things and understanding the challenges of being in the music industry as a whole. So as I'm continuing to figure out this, not only just for myself, but also for my clients, that's why we do these videos so that I can share the information for you. So my perspective on what I think will be the biggest game changer for you in 2023 is based on something that I implemented only 2 months ago. And I've seen such massive results that I think that this really will be kind of not just a game changer, but just something that really puts you on a great path for the new year. Okay? All right. So, starting with just the biggest problem I see for those in the music business, we all say, we're going to do something, right? So we have a passion, we have a love. And so we do that thing, but it's not necessarily with a lot of focus. It's not necessarily with a lot of determination, right? So as long as if we're, playing instruments, as long as we touch the instrument, as long as we do something here and there, we feel that we have kind of satisfied, right? What we need to do as musicians or as business owners. Okay. But then what happens is that when we're like, you know what, I feel in order to get myself to the next level, I need to do something. So we'll go watch a YouTube video, we'll buy a book, we'll listen to a podcast, we'll get an idea, and then we'll implement it. And it's going to be hard. Every time you try something new, it's going to be difficult and it's going to make your brain want to explode. Okay. That's discomfort that we all feel when it comes to change and trying new things. So then what happens is that we try the thing, we get frustrated because the thing doesn't work, right? And we don't necessarily see overnight results and overnight success. And then that results in us not trying a thing again for a while. So then we go back to what we were doing, right? With the limited touches and limited effort. So then the next problem of why we find ourselves in that position is because of time. Okay. I can't speak for anyone else. And I know there are exceptions to this. Okay. But generally speaking, the people that I gear this show to are people who are like me. People who are going to hustle, they're going to work hard, they're going to try to find solutions, and they're going to be busy people. So if you are someone who's already busy, let's say you have a 9-to-5 job, let's say you have other things, you have a family, you have stuff you just have to take care of. You're already busy and kind of at your capacity. And so the idea of taking additional time to try to then get to that new thing, because that's always what it is, right? You got to learn a new skill. You got to put in more time to build a website or do your social media. It's always about finding that more time, but that's difficult because we don't have time to spare. Okay. So how can you make time to have actual forward movement when you're already too busy? So something that I learned this year, and specifically really focusing on it the last few months, was that a lot of us have a tendency of procrastination through productivity. So what I mean by that is you will do things, even if they're difficult, you do things that you know how to do. Okay. So maybe this has to do more with like your 9-to-5 job. And so you're just going to do more of that, but that's the thing that takes your time. And then you have to get home and then you have to do family stuff, right? And so what happens is that we are basically making excuses for ourselves to not move forward in our music careers, with our music businesses, because we're so busy doing all the other stuff. And it's true, right? So, for example, me being an attorney, I'm billing time, I'm working with a ton of clients, and I have pressure all the time. There are deadlines, there are things that are coming up. And so for me, the way that this, I guess, kind of applies to my lifestyle is that there's always more to do. So in order for me then to be super productive, I could just do more of that stuff. But if I have a goal of building, let's say, a community of students, right? I'm teaching and I'm building courses and I'm helping you guys with your music businesses, and that's something I'm really passionate about. That means I have to take time away from the thing that's super productive, right? And gives me kind of that intrinsic value of I did it, I got it done. It's the to-do list items. I feel so good, but I don't necessarily feel so good. So that's my example, but it's going to be different for you. So for example, even today, I had to choose kind of preparing for the podcast, preparing for this video, and to really put in the time to make sure that you get the value out of the video and you learn something that's really going to help you, right, for 2023. But that meant I had to stop the other things. So for you, you have other things going on. You have a different lifestyle than I do. But if you are a very high productive type of person, the problem is that you're not lazy. You're doing a lot of stuff, but you're doing a lot of stuff that you already know how to do. Okay. So we focus on the short-term wins, right? We're going to get the job done. We're going to make some money, but we're not actually putting in the time for the long-term investment to have that forward movement. Okay. So if you, for example, were to take, let's say, this entire weekend, okay? I don't know when you're watching this, but the weekend's coming up at some point. And you're going to say, all right, I need to write out the business strategy for what I'm doing with my music career. Now, for a lot of you, the way that I phrase this is you are a music business. I don't care if it's just one of you and you're building your whole thing. Treat yourself like a music business. So your career is your business. All right. And you go, I'm going to write out my business plan, right? If I still need to set up a website, I'm going to set up the website. If I need to get my social media going, I'm going to do that. If I'm going to have a team meeting, I'm going to do all the things. But it's going to take me both Saturday and Sunday, and I'm going to get this done. Okay, that's great. You're going to set it. And you're going to end up sacrificing your whole weekend. And you're going to have to do that instead of all the other things that maybe you wanted to do that were even, in fact, productive. Instead of cleaning the house, right, and getting the groceries and hanging out with mom and hanging out with your best friend, you're going to make this decision to do something that actually is way more uncomfortable. And that's kind of what I'm getting to with this. You choose to do something uncomfortable for hours, like coming up with your business plan, instead of doing the thing that keeps you productive, right? Productive procrastination is one of the biggest problems that is holding us back. We hold ourselves back. So, one of the things that I found very helpful is called the 5-second rule. Some of you may or may not know about this. Mel Robbins, she put out a book. It's called the 5-second rule. And basically, it's acknowledging the fact that our brains work against us the majority of the time. Our brains are telling us that we shouldn't do the thing because it's going to be uncomfortable, right? We don't want to do the big project. We don't want to get started. And so we talk ourselves out of it. That's what then leads to procrastination or even productive procrastination. I'll just go do this other thing, right? So I don't have to do the hard thing. So what you do, according to Mel Robbins, is that you count backwards. So before you give yourself a chance and your brain to do anything, as soon as you sit down and you start to feel that feeling coming where you don't want to do it, you count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you do it. So you don't allow yourself that moment of hesitation and you do it. So I actually started doing this. And this is not the tip for where we're getting to. This is just something to help you along the road to the tip. But I found it very helpful, okay? And she also talks about how this has been so helpful for just like hundreds of thousands of people with their anxiety issues, right? And overcoming fear of flying and just all this great stuff. You should definitely look into it either way. And then, what you also do is you imagine what it's going to feel like once you get through the tough thing, which I also have found helpful. So if you're, fear of flying, that's a good example. Imagine what it will feel like when you get to your destination. If you're flying to Hawaii, you're going to be on the beach. You're going to have, what do people drink? I don't know. They drink something lovely in your hand, a great view. That's what you think about. So you really help to control your brain. Okay. So keep this in mind because we're now going to go to the number one issue of those trying to build a successful music business or career for themselves is that they lie to themselves. And I've done this too. Okay. You tell yourself you're going to take action on something and then you don't. You promise yourself you're going to go to a meeting. You're going to get the plan together. You're going to post your social media. You're going to get in the studio. You're going to produce new tracks. And then you don't. Even something more peripheral to the actual business, your health. I'm going to get to the gym. I'm going to eat better. I'm going to have more water because that will give me more energy. And then you don't. By doing this, though, what happens is that you tell yourself subliminally that you're a liar. Okay? So by doing this, you can't trust yourself. And if you can't trust yourself, who else can trust you? And so it actually creates kind of this mental loop that we'll get stuck in. So this is why we have a tendency to not actually move forward because we know we're not going to do it. And then we start to tell ourselves lies like, oh, I'm so lazy. Oh my gosh, I didn't do it. And again, this is all stuff that's kind of a pina colada. There we go. A little late on that. We have pina coladas on the beach in Hawaii. So that's the number one issue that I'm seeing. So now, what's the big game changer for artists in 2023? The number one game changer for artists in 2023 is that what you're going to do is this exact tactic. In the morning, every morning, you're going to get up. I don't know if you're the kind of person that likes to journal for a few minutes. It's super great to like just dump your brain on a piece of paper about what you're, angry about, happy about, grateful for. Amazing. If you do it, great. Even if you don't, this is what you do. In the morning, you get up, you have a piece of paper, and you're going to write down the thing, if it's just one thing that you're going to accomplish that day, that's going to be a needle moving task. That's what I call it. So it's going to be the thing that maybe isn't going to pay you money, right? It's not going to be like a to-do item. It's not going to be like getting groceries or cleaning or just getting in and working your voice if you're a singer or practicing your piano. But it's going to be something that can actually move forward your career, your business, and it's going to be the hard stuff. Okay, so if it's You need to set up your LLC. You need to set up your website and learn how to make a website through Wix. It's going to be one thing to move your career forward. Okay. And what you're going to do is you are going to accomplish that task no matter what. Because by writing it down and saying, I'm going to do this thing today, you're making yourself a promise. And even if it's late, even if you're sick, even if you're hungry, no matter what the conditions are, you're going to accomplish that task. Okay. And you're also going to remember Mel's 5-second rule, which I have found so very helpful. I even do it to get up in the morning because I don't want to get up, but I'm not going to procrastinate. I'll count down and I get up as soon as I hit, 1. And that includes your productive procrastination. You're not going to allow yourself to go and do all these extra little things. So you can be like, oh my gosh, I did all these things. They need to be done. And I'll get to that other thing tomorrow. No, you're not going to do that. You're going to get the thing done. Nothing. And remember this too, okay? Nothing before today matters. Whenever you're watching this, today is literally all you have. You can't think about yesterday. You can't think about last year. And you can't have fear about what's going to happen tomorrow because none of that stuff matters. All that matters is what's happening right here, right now. So you're going to take action immediately. And I want you to do this after watching this video. Okay? So what you'll do is you'll just write down the thing so it's already done. You don't have to do it in the morning. And then after that, every morning do it. But you'll write down the thing that you're going to accomplish tomorrow because you know what those things are. Okay? And you are going to take action. And then when tomorrow comes and you're tired and you just want to take a break and you're not feeling up to it, you're going to sit there and you're going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you're going to start on the thing. And if you do that, you will have a complete change to your actual productivity and getting the stuff done that's really going to move the needle for you to get you to that next level with your music career, with your music business, and I know you're going to crush it. All right, so in Pina Colada land, all right, we're going to watch it. We're going to watch a video. We're going to do a thing. We're going to do Evanescence. That's the message I'm receiving. So this is my Evanescence cover. I will be in the chat. We will be chatting and having a great time together. Let me go real fast before we move on. I just used your featured artist agreement with a new singer. Love that. I need to get a contract with my main producer. Can I do one retroactively for music already released with no contract attached to it? Yes. Always have a contract. Okay, so if you need to backdate it, totally fine. All you do is you just put in the date for when you guys started, the money that was exchanged, who's going to own it. Make sure you have a contract. Thank you very much. Hello, Raf on Facebook. Hey. Awesome. I appreciate you guys. You're amazing. All right, let me go back just a little bit, make sure I didn't miss anything. Charles on Facebook says, I do something similar. Instead of counting down, I just say, let's do it to it. I love that. Let's do it to it. Another weird things that I did this year, I started getting this weird thing about my garage, right? So I would be leaving in the morning and I would always feel like I didn't close it. Even though I actually saw it close, I knew it was closed, and I'd get to the end of the road and I'd turn around. It was very OCD. And I did this every day and it drove me crazy because I was like, I know I closed it, but I can't because I have this feeling and I'm worried about it. So there are things that we do, and I think that there's some healthier things, but I dig it. Thank you very much. I appreciate the nice words. Naomi says she is following the podcast on Spotify. Amazing. If you guys want to listen, just search Top Music Attorney. All right. With that being said, Eric, thank you very much. Appreciate you. We are going to watch the Evanescence cover. I will be doing the things on social media, so you can say hi on social media over the weekend. Please do jump into the podcast. I think that, that Orko, he's been doing such an amazing job, and it's really like if you want to binge learn music business, that's the place to do it. We have some more fun stuff and the stories for news things that are happening that we do on this channel, but that's definitely a great place for you just to kind of do quick learning. So definitely check it out. When you're ready, that Orko, let's run it. I love your faces. I'm Top Music Attorney, Miss Krystle. Bye, guys.